And we are back, round 14, about to begin. A lot of tough matchups here in the top brackets here.
Oh
Top
yeah,
three tables are all IDing is what we're assuming here. So we got you guys a potential win-in situation with Zack Lesage versus.
and in addition to that, we have the one, the only.
Simon Trottier Lacasse, French Canadian from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
That is right, aka STL Simone, the one, the only,
we got
with the Mew lockdown.
we got two great decks here. Simon's going to be playing the Mew counterbox deck that we've been super ecstatic about entire weekend. Third time on the stream right now. And Zach come back second time. Hitmonchan Wob. Let's talk about this matchup, John.
That's right. I'm excited about this matchup because it's the first time I've really gotten a chance to see Simone get a chance to really go head to head with another non-GX deck on stream.
True.
What was the second matchup that he had this weekend that's been on stream?
I already forgot. So
Shucks.
Blastoise.
Blastoise,
Russell
yeah.
Blastoise.
No, Russell and Blastoise, yeah. So this will be a good opportunity to see a pure non-GX deck versus another pure non-GX deck too. And we've seen it past couple of stream matches he's been on, but I love the variety in this Mew box deck, being able to choose all sorts of different tech attackers, bring the heat at just the right moment, and have the most unearthly combos of cards at just the right point in the game.
Absolutely there. So previously, Simon did just finish playing against that Vespiquen Flareon deck with the Swampert, so he did have a little bit of experience going against another 90X deck and was able to take that down in Game 1, Game 2 not being able to conclude. But we are into turn 1 here. Simon does go first. Battle Compressor right off the bat here. We're seeing Choice Band, Sycamore, and an Ace Trainer going to the discard pile.
That is right, and so we're getting some of these cards. The Choice Band not going to be nearly as impactful against a Hitmonchan deck that's purely non-GX. There are some lists we've seen like John Ings that ran a couple interesting tech single copy inclusions like the Kartana GX.
Correction, that is not Ace Trainer. That is Pokemon Ranger, and not Ace Trainer. There's one to correct that.
All right, good deal. Yeah, and so at any rate, we've seen non-GX. We've seen some versions of Hitmonchan running Shuckle GX. We've seen some versions of the deck running Kartana, and in John Ing's case, we saw both. But we have, just pure non-GX. Looking down the list, my first time, very excited to finally get a chance to cast this deck. I don't see any GXs at all. There haven't been any GXs, so he relies purely on the non-GX attackers to have an efficient exchange. So now that both players, maybe for the first time all weekend, we've got purely non-GX.
Oh no, does he have a basic Pokemon to put on the bench? Does he? He has a chance to do the Distortion Door at the very least, so that he has something on the bench there.
He might
Off
have
that
to.
Sycamore, he got rid of the Giratina, the Mr. Mime. Does he have a Nest Ball? Okay, Orangaroo, Resource Management coming down to the discard to the bench. I see Field Blower, Silent Lab. What else do we have here? That Counter Gain. Yeah, he's gonna have the Distortion Door here for nothing, just to kind of have that security blanket. Wow, not much going on though, unfortunately for Simon.
Yeah, although at the same time, there are a lot of options open up. I mean, that's the great thing about having that Mew Fates Collide is even though he doesn't have some super explosive first turn, in an instant, he could turn that Mew into a lethal weapon.
This could be the dangerous thing here because Simon really preys on being able to take those double prize knockouts after getting behind. But getting behind in a single prize matchup could be really awkward in a sense because you don't want to get behind that kind of matchup where you're trading 1-for-1.
Yeah, although with Simon, and actually both players have plenty of outs and ways to come from behind, even if they do fall behind, where both of them run a counter card. We've got Counter Gain on Simone's side, where he's going to pay less energy to attack with his Pokemon if he's behind on prizes. And on Zack's side, we have Counter Catcher as well. And actually, correction here. I mean, with Simone having two counter catchers, he's a lot more comfortable playing from behind all around.
Mm-hmm. He does. It looks like he did grab the Marshadow Let Loose there. Interesting enough, you can see that Simon didn't do too much on his turn here, so I guess Let Loose hopefully to add insult to injury there. We'll see what comes of Zach's turn right now. Muscle Band, Floatstone, Enhanced Hammer. Going to probably get dropped down on his Prism Energy here before the turn ends.
You got that Energy Lotto coming down. Great way to add some consistency to your deck and your hits for those special energy, but not when the top 7 of your cards fail to include any energy whatsoever. Getting all those tools down, all those Pokemon down right before the let loose.
Clean
I
let
like
loose.
that. I like being able to thin it down all the way to no card hand, drop the let loose, and you already have that Wobbuffet as a potential threat. And the great thing about this particular situation is because Mew has such low HP, there's actually a possible scenario where Wobbuffet could deal enough damage to knock out a Mew. Not that Floatstone Wobbuffet, but maybe a Wobbuffet later on.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's just the Prism, Prism energy there, or 2 energies there, and a Muscle Band can KO
Yeah.
a Mew. So
Yeah. Although Hitmonchan's far and away going to be the better choice right now because
Absolutely.
it's going to be
Just
swinging for way more efficient damage.
you only need 1 energy to do it as well.
But still need that energy before he goes off and does anything like that, and
He has a
preferably
supporter, or
strong
he has
energy.
an end. He has an end there. So unfortunately, it looks like this let loose is going to be a little bit null there. Lots of shuffling going on here.
Yeah, although I like the way that both of these decks move in the expanded format as opposed to some of the more popular decks we've seen where things like Night March can basically be exploding for 5 to 10 minutes and you're just twiddling your thumbs waiting for them to finish playing out half their deck. But we have kind of a more traditional way that these decks are dealing out where, okay, I play this card. Oh, I play that card. Oh, I attach my energy. It's a lot more simplistic. It isn't as overwhelming.
Yeah, understandably there. Both players cutting the deck here. Going to draw 6 as no prizes have been taken just yet. Let's see, Versus Seeker,
And
double
we got a
Karina,
strong energy.
strong fighting, and I think that's a counter catcher there.
Yep, and getting
So 30, 50, 70 times 2
Yep.
should be a knockout on this
clean
Orango
knockout. So already off to a good start for Zack Lesage, but
And got a Cynthia off the prizes. That's a saving grace right there.
yeah.
Simon decides to promote Mew here. Free retreat, easy option. He does have computer search in hand as well. Top decks and Nest Ball. So you should see a very strong turn here from Simon on the return.
Right, contemplating his options. The convenient thing about having this deck be able to recharge itself over and over again is that just because Oranguru is in the discard pile does not mean that it's gone by a long stretch. Although, to be real with you guys, I don't see it as being that essential of a way to whittle down energy or anything like that. So it's just gone. It's a prize, and so now Simone can go for some more aggressive options. So
And he had teammates in hand also. Wow, so he's going to be able to start pulling off this direct combos now. Should be able to get a KO here, I would assume, here in the first turn. Going to get probably counter energy and, I don't know, one of his attackers.
yeah, and he's got a lot of great options between Shining Legends, Shaman. Maybe it's a little too premature to use that, and
Maybe
because
Maybe looking to grab counter catcher as well to pull up that Hitmonchan. That's the only attacker currently that Zack has on the field, and it hits for weakness.
right, it hits for weakness, and in addition to that, though, I don't think that he's really putting Zack too far behind if all he did was get a knockout out of that Hitmonchan, because then all Zack has to do is recover the exact same lineup that he had one way or the other. And this time it'll be even easier to get a knockout on than Oranguru because of that 50 HP.
We did see he had double Karina in hand to be able to pull off getting that Hitmonchan back out, as well as an item card to go with it. So even if there was a way to disrupt these float stones as well, I'm sure that with Karina we'll be able to find another way to do that
Town
here.
map with a couple Professor Sycamore prize, 3 Professor Sycamore prize. Wow.
At least no energy. Typically he's
Yeah.
been having energy in his prizes the last couple matches here, so that's fortunate at least.
Yeah, and we have a really fascinating situation here that's almost disadvantageous in some ways by drawing the prize of a Professor Sycamore.
Ooh.
You see what's going on here
Yeah.
with that.
He's going with the Giratina here. I've seen the Giratina attack in a while. He's going to be using that was a 130 and as what 40 to itself.
Yes, sir. And that Giratina is coming up, ready to eat something
Shadow
alive.
Impact.
Take it to the distortion zone or world. I think it's
Distortion world.
Distortion world. Yeah.
Distortion world.
Yeah. I was thinking Lost Zone. Yep, we've got the knockout on the Wobbuffet, putting a little
It just puts 4
bit of
damage
pressure.
counters on any of your Pokemon.
Yeah, but better to put it on
Yeah.
Giratina.
Itself.
Yeah.
He ends up doing a direct knockout on the Wob. Going to promote Hitmonchan here. Currently doing 30, 50, 70. But Giratina does resist fighting.
That's correct. Now, in some versions of the Hitmonchan deck, we could have seen a much easier response to that Giratina, where we might have been able to Guzma that Giratina up to the bench and then use Hitmonlee to knock out the Giratina from the bench. If I'm not mistaken, with that 90 HP left,
Mm-hmm.
with hit and run used the
Yep.
turn before, Hitmonlee could hit for 90, but we don't see that presence here in Zack's list. We just see pure, straightforward Hitmonchan hitting.
And he's going to need both Diancie and another strong energy to be able to, with computer search, should be able to get that strong energy as well, to be able to KO this Giratina.
Yeah, and so while we didn't see the counter catcher last turn, in order to respond to this Giratina, Zack would need a considerable amount of cards for this turn, while all that Simone would need is just the counter catcher and then the correct energy attachment. So in some ways, it wouldn't even really hurt Zack as much to miss this knockout and then just set up another attacker.
Mm-hmm. I think they're. I can barely hear them there, but they're talking to each other right now.
Something about
probably
showing
just
the card.
showing a card with computer search there. So I'm gonna attach it anyway. You can know what it is. Karina going to the discard pile. He did grab. So it was what computer search, and as well as the Diancie there, getting the strong energy. Going to be able to take the KO here. Exact 90 to knock out this Giratina. That I venture to say this Mew is going to be able to take the KO here in some way to get rid of those two strong energies that have been committed to that Hitmonchan.
And now Zack is up a prize, and so we see the floodgates let open for all the come from behind cards on Simone's side.
I saw the watch and learn pseudo Wudo in his hand there, so maybe we could see a hit and run Mew.
Yeah, and the cool thing about watch and learn is that it just copies the attack. So the Hitmonchan doesn't necessarily have to be in one place or the other,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because as long as the attack has been used, then watch and learn can copy it.
I'm curious with the D value still out there. He can actually distortion door again and apply some pressure to that Marshadow and a Diancie on bench, and then maybe Guzma up the Hitmonchan with the counter energy
Possible.
to be able to shadow impact that again. Just a couple different ideas here, but we do see a nest ball going through the thick right now. Let's see, he's eyeing the rally back Shaman there in the middle.
Also, another efficient way to be able to set up a possible knockout on that Hitmonchan.
We do see Kambalian getting pulled up to the front, and then he's deciding here. He has a couple of different options here. There's like a lot of one-ups in his deck, so opts for the rally back Shaman here with that attack there, similar to Terrakion of Old Faith there with full retaliation. Be able to if you get your Pokemon gets KO'd a turn before, it does 90 additional damage for the knockout.
Oh yeah, but this is even cleaner of a hit than that because of the Dimension Valley resulting in the attack costing only the single energy.
Single energy.
As long as he's able to get that out, I'd argue that's a lot more efficient than Terrakion may have ever been, and has some. It seems like we got a little bit of banter between the players here. I love the heat that both of them are bringing. Let's see what we got going on here. Still looking through, and that's the thing about Simone's list is we've hit this point multiple times already. I'm fine hitting it a single time right now, and that's that it's a pretty tough deck to play. Every single discard, every single use of a resource counts big time, and so you need to take your time, not too much time granted because there is a clock, but you need to go ahead and move very deliberately with your attachments. You don't just say, oh, this is something that can knock out something else. No, you have to be careful about when you time some of these single copy cards, even if you have ways to get them back.
So we do see Distortion Door to apply the 2 damage counters, one on Marshadow and one on the Hitmonchan, as well as the Prism Energy going up to the Mew looking for that rally back. Field Blower getting rid of that Muscle Band as well. To note, Articuno is in his hand. We all love that card with that Tri-Edge attack.
Yeah.
And that Delta plus ability there. Take one extra prize whenever it takes a KO.
And that's an ever-looming threat for this entire game, no matter what, unless for some weird reason Simone would get ahead on prizes. But the fact that Zack's entire deck revolves around a psychic weak Pokemon that has low HP. So doing the math there, as long as Simone's behind on prizes, he could just pop a Tri-Edge at any point that he would want to and cause some serious damage.
Well, right now, that Marshadow with a 60 HP on the bench right now is just, what, a muscle band and 1 heads away from getting hit with a Tri-Edge like that. So they're all there then. He's revealing the Articuno now versus holding it on for later.
And you know what's the scariest thing about this whole scenario as a Hitmonchan player is there's not even really a feasible way to get that Articuno off the board because it resists fighting. It's non-GX.
And maybe that's why he was he's more reluctant to bench it there, because it wasn't as susceptible to a KO. Like, I dare you to bring us up front here, because then I'm going to try to pull a Tri-Edge on you.
And one thing that Zack can use to give himself a bit of an advantage is just, we've gone on this point over and over again. I'm happy to go on it yet one more time. The Stadium War, being able to keep that Dimension Valley off the board and have Shrine of Punishment there. Even if you're not dealing any damage whatsoever to Pokemon with that, as long as Simone doesn't get to enjoy having cheaper attacks with Dimension Valley, then Zack's got a little victory there, even if it's only a moral victory.
I believe that was Zack's first Shrine of Punishment as well, and you see here Simon's second one is in the prizes as well. So Stadium War is in favor of Zack right now, as he has not played the second one yet. But maybe he discarded it, or does end up discarding it here. Might not know the full counts on Simon's board there. But yeah, to your point there, currently Zack's winning that Stadium War.
Yeah, well, we've got 2 copies total of the Dimension Valley for Simone. One's in the discard, one's in the prizes. And because Simone played the town map, he's essentially telegraphing the moment that he gets it to his opponent. So Zack, in turn, could just adjust from there and maybe end it away.
We do see a hit and run from the Hitmonchan to take the KO on this very, very fragile Mew from the Fates Collide set here. And Out of Venture State is going to promote this other Mew with the free retreat. Going into the Marshadow too as well off that hit and run. We do see a Rainbow Energy top deck from Simon here, and no energy on a board to really get anything going right now. He does have a Rescue Stretcher, Order Pad, so let's see here if we can get lucky with the Order Pads in this round. I think that's a heads. Nope, it's tails.
Yep. Guess we didn't get so lucky with that one.
He has another one in hand. So we have Order Pad, Rainbow Rescue, and I think there's a third card. I can't really tell.
Yep, and Simone's got 4 copies of the cards, so he's got plenty of chances to give that coin flip another go.
There it is.
And there it is. Yeah, there's that heads.
I think it's a heads. It's 2, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Blends in with that red sleeve pretty well. And so now the real challenge after getting that coin flip is to figure out just what the best
grab
option is. Yeah.
He may be nest balling for that other Oranguru to be able to instruct possibly. Or sorry, for the nest ball to get the Oranguru there. Lots of different options here. Counter Catcher is also an option, but I don't think he has a way to really KO anything at this point right now. Maybe he could Counter Catcher that Ansi, then do a flippity flop to get his hand back to a decent size.
Well, I don't know. I feel like a flippity flop might be a little premature. His hand isn't that bad, is it?
It was only a Rescue Stretcher and Rainbow Energy right now. So,
although I'm hoping with this, there we go, and by getting a VS Seeker with the ordered pad, he can set himself up for a better, more playable hand. Although he needs to keep up this prize exchange, and not just any prize exchange, but the way it's going right now, where it's too early to use Tri-Edge, probably. Most likely it's too early. So if he keeps this up where he gets another 2 prizes, then he puts Zack into a situation where he needs to keep drawing prizes as well. So we have theoretically 1 prize left for Zack, 2 for Simone, and then swoop in with the Tri-Edge and give yourself a good 7 out of 8 chance of winning.
All right, we are going to see a rally back here with the counter energy going on to the Shaman. And
there's our revenge attack right there.
He's going to also end this turn, ending Zack down to 3 cards.
And I like actually using the...
And he can grab the Sycamore here to make sure he can be able to draw next turn off the prizes.
That's right. But thanks to having 3 of those prizes that turned out to be advantageous here, so having that.
Something I like here, I'm pretty sure he's going to hold on the rescue structure, expecting the Shaman to get KO'd the following turn. That way, before he does the Sycamore, he can rescue structure it back, then Sycamore to rinse and repeat that rally back.
I love it. So we've got that.
Oh.
Noggin. He's going for the Dimension Valley,
Okay.
telegraphing a bit of strength in his hand.
Okay.
And there's actually some benefits there, whether or not that's for real, whether that's a bluff, one way or the other, from Zack's point of view, because by not going for that draw supporter, that tells Zack, puts him on notice, hey, I've got a pretty playable hand. I'm content with what I've got. And so I dare you to end me.
Zack does have a Verse Seeker in hand right now. I believe he's contemplating either probably Karina or maybe he might even have a teammate in his discard pile that he can use as well. Oh, there's a Karina. Karina allowing you to grab 1 fighting type Pokemon and 1 item card out of your deck. I was just checking right now to see if this Shaman is I think the Sky form is grass and fly. I don't know if it's going to resist the fighting type right now. Maybe it's just straight grass, but it does not resist fighting. I did look it up right now. It does not resist.
Right, which makes a huge difference since normally the Shaman Sky form, because it's a flying type
It is
Pokemon in
flying
the
type, yeah.
games, it usually resists fighting, but because in this particular instance the card does not, Zack can take advantage of that and possibly score an easier knockout with the Diancie and the strong energy, just enough to knock it out. Oh,
There
and
is
I
that Goomy.
I like the Goomy play here in some ways, but I feel like Simone may have even anticipated that strange option right there to bring up a Goomy, because, and this is getting really, really deep in the weeds here, where with a counter energy and a Dimension Valley, even that can get around Goomy.
Yep, 100% there. And but to the point there too, Simon does play 1 copy of Silent Lab as well, which contradicts Mew with Memories of Dawn ability there. But you can also attach that counter energy to other Pokemon to attack around the Goomy. Goomy only has 40 HP. That's pretty fragile, and Articuno would love to hit a Tri-Edge on that.
Oh yeah, although I think the main thing that Articuno is hungriest for would be just that Hitmonchan with a Mew hitting it, but I mean,
Won't be able to get the double prize, but still.
True, because of the Delta.
The Delta trait.
Because of the Delta trait not being on Mew. At any rate, we've got the Dimension Valley coming down, and Simone contemplating exactly the best way to approach this to get around the Goomy.
He has the Rainbow in hand, and I think he's just deciding what. Does he have a counter catcher in hand also by chance? Or what's he possibly eyeing down here? Goomy with that sticky membrane ability, making your opponent have 1 additional colorless cost in their attacks when it's active.
Oh, and it looks like he's actually
We're looking for a chilling.
Setting
We're going to Chilling Sigh.
Well, the problem here, let's see. Well, with Chilling Sigh, Goomy would still make it need 1 more energy, correct? So he might not even
Might
be
be able to do that. You're
Chilling
right.
Sigh.
You're right there.
But I like it as a play anyways, just because it sets up that Articuno as an attacker.
Now I know Zack has used 1 Enhanced Hammer for sure. Has he gone through? But nope, he just shuffled the other Enhanced Hammer to the top right there. So we're going to see this Rainbow Energy go to the discard pile once Simon passes here. Which, without that KO here, this is immediately a turn behind for Simon.
Oh, and we've got the Victini coming down. I like that.
All right, so this is going to be huge right now. This end of 2 is going to be huge. And the big thing here is that if he stops Zack from getting the KO here and is able to keep that Goomy active, Simon just needs a KO and then obviously the Tri-Edge for the sweep to take those last 2 prizes off that Delta trait ability we were just speaking of earlier. So this end of 2 is very, very crucial.
Oh, exactly. I mean, with a Floatstone already committed, the odds of Zack being able to draw out of this have gone down a little bit, not by a whole lot, but still he's living off of the next 2 cards here, and the third if you include his draw for the turn.
Draw for turn, yep. Everything rides on this draw for this game 1.
Yeah, it's a really defensive play that's honestly very painful to dedicate yourself to. That's pretty luck-based.
Is that a Juniper?
I think that's
it's a choice band Pokemon. That's it.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like that much to work off of. I think that's a focus sash, so
Focus Sash.
it's something useful, but it's not a draw card. It's
Not
not
a
going to
draw
get him a
card.
KO.
Are we gonna? So we can't see. Yeah, whatever he's gonna pivot to here. Is he gonna pivot to the Victini, the Giratina? I'm sure not the Articuno.
There's actually a little bit of merit in well, whatever he would bring up. There's a little bit more merit in something that is going to be able to survive a Hitmonchan hit.
Okay.
And granted, I think he wants to save that Articuno for the very end, but that's the number one thing that looks like it could survive getting hit if it comes down to it.
What is so? Is he just gonna pass? Oh, he's gonna leave the
Oh.
U active.
And is that a shrine in his hand?
Choice,
That's
focus.
that's a focus right there, and
So-
I think a choice. Yeah, just like you said, and it's a pass.
So you don't even go after the Hitmonchan now, honestly, because you want to get that direct. Unless he has Field Blower, which I'm pretty sure I believe I saw him go to the discard pile earlier. But that's Sycamore, Order Pad, Rescue Stretcher.
and we've got a
Can we get a heads?
fateful order
Can we
pad
get a
flip
heads?
here.
Oh,
No,
tails.
not quite.
Order Pad is just not being very friendly at all this weekend.
Well, I mean, 1 out of 3 really isn't that bad.
The
so
previous
far.
matches, like I think
Yeah.
Russ had 0 for 3. A couple matches before that was just a lot of trash.
I think it's just the bad luck on that card that really
Bad juju.
accentuates itself. Yeah.
lots of
like,
bad juju.
You're never going to hear somebody complain about, oh, I got 4 heads on order pad, or oh, I got 3 out of 4 heads. That's not really as exciting and spicy as like, oh, I got 0 for 8 order pad in the
Mhm.
match. I mean, it's just not the same thing, and I feel like that sort of applies here. This is just below average luck. It's not anything earth-shattering though, but we've got some good action going on here for some of the rescue stretcher choices. Gonna make a big impact in the next couple turns, whatever he gets. And they've said Mew is a potential backup attacker later.
Interesting. That's really interesting kind of like sequence of events there to instruct with the Sycamore in hand and then rest stretcher just for the Mew after benching the Sableye. I'm curious the thought process behind that sequence there.
Let's see.
Because now he's losing the
He's losing
Prism
both
energy.
of his resources. Now, one thing that if he knows that Zack is in a draw pass scenario is unless he's going I have a feeling he's going ham for that knockout on the Hitmonchan, but if he were playing really defensively, he could play a single energy on the Mew to get around the Gumi, copy Junk Hunt, and have that as a possible option later for more items.
He does have the counter energy here, so I think we're going to see that play here. You coming with the counter energy and can see that Junk Hunt. Actually, no, yeah, well, he actually can do V Blast because of
And
Divination
we
Valley.
see the V-Bass for 20 times the number of basic Pokemon, and it's a clean 120. And so he says, come on down, Hitmonchan, knock me out. Let me go ahead and just tri-edge that Marsh Shadow or something else for potentially the game. But, oh, the teammates top deck
Gotta get
right
that
there, I
enhanced
think.
hammer more than
Yeah.
likely.
Oh, man.
Teammates top deck. Man.
And the fact he's not rushing to that enhanced hammer tells me that this is a little more complicated than we're making it out to be. He's definitely going to be... He's eyeing that Nihilego.
Okay, so
He's flirting with the idea of copying an attack of his opponents, but I'm not sure if he's actually going to go for it. And the Nihilego has some benefits in being the attacker of choice because it's a little bit bulky.
but it also saves your Hitmonchan too, right? It's because if
What's that?
It saves your Hitmonchan as well if you use
Yeah.
a different attacker to take this first knockout. Because you know your Hitmonchan is gonna be safe with that focus sash, but for some reason Simon can pull off the, field blower, et cetera. There, you can at least guarantee your one knockout round now with the Nihilego. But he opts to get looks like Guzma. You can't play Guzma. Just play
Can't play
teammates.
Guzma. Yeah.
That
And
little froggy. So you have to get another Hitmonchan in.
and
He's gonna
an
attack.
energy on the
He's gonna
Marsh
attack
Shadow?
with the Mars Shadow here because of Dimension
Ooh.
Valley.
That's actually that's pretty aggressive there.
That's pretty spicy. Yeah,
Well,
I think a shot punch is what like just you don't apply resistance whenever you attack with it. I think that's what
yeah.
the flavor text is.
I mean, honestly, I don't really think it's unless there's something we're missing about the number of counter energy left. I don't think that's as spicy. It's just really unnecessarily risky if all that it takes here is that counter gain and an energy and
Yep.
a single heads to win the match
So there's the
or
prism.
win the
Does he
game.
have counter gain?
Excuse
There's
me.
the counter gain. Let's see if we get here.
Oh
Are we about to
man.
flip a table again? Is there a muscle band that he can apply also here? No muscle bands.
Well,
No.
no,
He's
but
just one heads.
yeah, and with that
One heads
one
out of three
counter,
tries.
wow, that distortion door might make the
One
difference
heads,
here.
three
Oh
tries.
gosh,
Distortion door gonna
7
come
out of
back
8, folks.
and haunt Zack here. There's tails.
Tails.
0 for 1.
Tails.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
No
my.
way. Triple
All right,
tails.
all right. Oh man, and we got the one, and they're just anticipating. They're waiting for it.
It's oh! We're going. There it is. Double
We're
prize
going to game
coming
2.
back.
Oh my gosh.
The distortion door, putting the pressure. That right there, turn 1 coming back. Articuno
Man.
coming in hot. A second time.
Yeah.
Second time, Articuno bringing it back.
I tell you what, there's probably a good reason why the Articuno plushies are hard to find around
They
here.
all got sold after round 7.
Yeah.
Every booth was just destroyed with the
They just
Articuno
been
plushie.
taken up.
You get a plushie. You get a plushie.
and you get
The
a plushie.
price skyrocketed to 100
Oh,
plus
gosh.
bucks just for Articuno
Buy them on
plushie.
eBay now.
All the rates
Now.
changed for the gyms outside
Yeah.
for Pokemon Go to Articuno.
Oh, and by the way, Roaring Skies Articuno, buy it now. It's going to go up in price from 50 cents to $1.
At least $1, maybe
At least.
$1.25.
Yeah.
It depends you get the reverse hollow or not. But
Big
that
deal.
was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Articuno doing the work again.
And those are the
against
coin flips
96.
that matter the most. Like the order pad coin flips, I'm not as preoccupied about. It's those
Yep.
tri-edge flips. Like those make the biggest difference by far.
Yep.
By far. And like essentially it comes down to that. I mean,
Yep.
it's like dispassionately looking at it. Yeah, it's 7 out of 8 chances of winning.
I'm
but
very,
seeing
very
those
happy
two tails hurts.
that it was the third.
Yeah.
The third head. The third
That's the
flip.
one.
That's the best dispensable. You're just kind of hanging on
That,
the edge.
that's
like,
the money.
oh.
That's the coin flip to end it all right.
That's
there.
the best
That
moneymaker.
is that's the money making coin flip.
We just got a notification that there's a slight time extension for an additional 2 minutes.
Not bad.
So it's bad. I guess there a little bit extra time there for the players. Might have been a ruling that we may have missed there. That might be
Maybe
going over
so.
some discussion right now. But time extension nonetheless.
Good deal.
Yeah. But, I mean, both players played very effectively there. Zack probably could get some additional attackers out there with the Hitmonchan. But overall, I mean, he's going to go first. He's going to get that first. If Zack goes first, actually, Simon gets the chance for the first knockout to get ahead there. So I'm curious how he's going to play that. Is he going to kind of,
Right.
leverage playing the back foot, the back seat here to be able to use those counter plays like he did and eventually get to that point for Triage again?
I think we might see a lot of what we had in the last game in the next game, and there are going to be some minor coin flips. There are going to be some big coin flips, but regardless of what we see as far as that goes, I would like to see maybe a little bit more conservative play from Zack.
Okay.
The Marsh Shadow, and that's the thing is it seemed like with the moment that Simone put the counter on Marsh Shadow for Distortion Door, he was telegraphing, this is how I want to win the game.
Yep.
And at that point, Zack could have been like, okay, well, maybe I can pause for a little bit and see if I can wait a turn before going too crazy with this. Because if he got it to a situation where prizes were 1-1, Simone can't use counter energy or counter gain because they're tied in prizes. So back to the action.
Back to action here. Zack is going first. We do see probably what's going to be one of the more critical cards in this matchup, and that is Focus Sash on that Hitmonchan. Going to prevent it from getting one hit knocked out there. I guess that looks like a Cynthia right afterwards there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so, okay, yep, Cynthia there, drawing a fresh 6 here. We do see Strong Energy, Choice Band, and just a pass.
Yeah, and roaring off to
I like that.
pretty-
He's holding the energy there, just in case for some reason he gets Guzmud or anything like that. He gets that guarantee to have it for next turn.
Yeah, I like that too. I think that being careful with your energy attachments is the mark of a good player, and he's a former champion of multiple tournaments, and if I recall correctly, didn't he just recently win the Latin America International Championship?
Yeah, Blacephalon?
Or was that no? That was Danny Altavilla.
Down to Villanova, I know, but he won with something with Blacephalon very recently. And
Yeah.
I think it was Collinsville, maybe. I think it was Collinsville. Standard
Gotcha.
Regional. Because I think he was notably going, Blacephalon is not the best play.
And we just see a auto auto concession.
Hold on
break.
1 second now.
Just got benched. Turn 2. Yep. So not nearly as not
Well.
nearly as climactic as the first game, but you know that's just how cards deal out sometimes. Turn 2 dunk.
Sucks.
Yeah, there's no better word for it. It
That's just
sucks.
sucks.
But we've got a third game.
We
too,
got a third
so-
game.
and we
I
got
love-
plenty of time for it,
you know,
including the 2-minute time extension.
2-minute time extension, so plenty of time here for the players to get the job done. But,
Yeah, that's the
Ugh.
danger about running a 50 HP Pokemon as your core attacker. Is sometimes it's not going to be able to handle a hit.
yeah, there's no bench Pokemon for him to recover from. And Simon's deck's already shuffled. He's ready to get the ball rolling here. Come on, Zack.
Oh yeah.
Let's get the deck shuffled, baby. Let's get this game going. We got like 17 minutes, 2-minute time extension there, so 19, 20 minutes left. Let's get this going here for
Yeah.
hopefully a great game 3 between both
And
players.
both of these players really care about getting that win and not just simply getting more championship points, but getting the title.
Getting the title,
Getting the title
and
for hometown Canada.
hometown Canada. Here's the thing, though. Which player wants the most to go up against Trevenant in the top 8? Neither.
Neither.
So here we go. Simon going first. Mew in the active spot. I think I see Order Pad, Oricorio, Town Mat right at the start there. Oh, no, 2 counters,
gosh.
and a Prism,
But
and a
hey-
Rally Back Shaman.
But
Okay.
hey, it's one of those situations where a weakness is actually going to be a strength because those are 2 counter energy that Simone will always know he can have access
Yep.
to, and they can work as a deterrent to bait ends.
Cobalion coming down also with that Revenge Blast attack there. Looks like he's discarding Mr. Mime, Oricorio, and the Giratina. All the psychic types. Purple Gang going to the discard pile. And a sick with the Sycamore there. See Nest Ball, Teammates. What else do we have there? It's kind of hard to see all the items there.
Guzma hanging out, saying, "Hey, Edmond-chan, want to knock you out."
We're gonna talk later. I'm gonna take it to the corner and take you out.
Let's see, him got another Mew right there as an instant backup. Once the first Mew goes down, he'll have the second ready to go.
Reluctant enough, Zack doesn't have a Hitmonchan right now unless he's holding it in hand. He's starting to Wobblefoot there. So right now, no way to KO the Mew just yet. And I would say here that Science Park like hold on to any dimension values to avoid that play we were talking about previously with like the muscle band.
And there it is in his hand. He just needs the Floatstone. Yeah.
There's an N, and there's 2 N's, Enhanced
And
Hammer.
Mysterious Treasure.
Is he gonna go for the Let Loose here?
You know,
He's
Stop.
eyeing. Okay, Gumi.
And there's some value in getting the Gumi because it really frustrated Simone's setup last game in some ways, where it ultimately did not win Zack the game, but just having that there to make the cost of Mew less efficient than it usually is actually helps exert resources.
It's funny the interaction between Gumi and Dimension Valley, how they kind of even each other out in a sense.
Yeah, and I would love to see more situations where Gumi ends up baiting a Dimension Valley too early.
Mm-hmm. So we do see the end there. Zack looking for a Floatstone right now, and if not, Simon gets to survive 1 turn, and can get the first leap here on the prize trade.
There's a Floatstone.
There's
There's
plenty
multiple
of Floatstones.
Floatstones.
The Floatstone family got the brother,
That's
the
right.
sister,
And the
and
baby
a
too.
Karina to get the rest of the gang. It's a family reunion. Retreat into the hit and run. Exact 50 knockout, promoting the Gumi, and Zack takes the first prize of game 3.
But fortunately, Simone, by getting that second Mew, is already prepared to keep the cycle going and maybe set up exactly what he had in game 1.
That Articuno already in his hand. Nope, that's the White Kyurem.
Yeah, White Kyurem.
White
yeah.
Kyurem. Order pad. Let's see. We get another one here. Right now he's 1 for 3.
White Kyurem's applicability in this matchup is not really that great. I mean, you're not trying too hard to discard stadium cards, and the amount of damage that White Kyurem is dealing is a little bit overkill when you have fire energy attached to it.
Mm-hmm. So Verse Seeker for the Sycamore here. I think he's just discard everything. Nothing else is going to play before prior to that there. I see Counter Catcher. Might bring up that Hitmonchan.
I'd at
Also
least
has
like
a
to see that
Rangaroo.
used before he uses Sycamore. But without, I mean, there it goes. So just a question of what he's bringing up. Oh, and the
Okay,
Wobbuffet.
bring the Wobbuffet.
Interesting.
It's interesting too because he might get to a point where his hand size may get so low that he wants to instruct, but now he can't because of Bide Barricade.
And I would honestly just enjoy seeing that situation to see how he gets around it.
See your Rescue Stretcher. See the other Rangaroo, the Resource Management Prism. But he can't do anything with it right now. Oh, wait, no. Gumi's out of active, so he can. If he has Dimension Valley, he can attack with the Prism Energy, but I do not see a D Valley.
Right,
So his
but
Order Pad
is
going to have to
be
huge.
crucial.
That's a
And
heads.
It's a little very
I think like Order Pad just comes at the right
Yeah.
times.
like right now.
Exact moment right now. Iron Computer Search.
Oh, and he's going for the computer search. Yep. And
Probably opting to save that Dimension Valley for later in the game when he might like 100% need it when his Gumi comes back up. So he's probably going to go for the direct counter energy right now.
yep, and he's getting the Dimension Valley right now.
Oh, he's getting Dimension Valley
Yeah,
off the
yeah, Order Pad only gets items.
Items. Got it. Mew coming down. D Valley.
Dropping it down.
And he has Verse Seeker in hand for
And-
next turn.
Yep,
so
and he's got that single energy, all that he needs
so
because
we're going to see V
all the reductions
Blast.
there.
Or even, V Blast for the KO here.
Yeah, Revenge Blast, one colored energy off from being able to be used, but with the Victini, with its fire energy and its colorless energy cost, Dimension Valley reduces the cost of Victini and hits for 200 damage. A little bit of overkill on Wobbuffet,
Just a
but
little.
overkill's nice. Just a smidgen.
Pass over to Zack's turn. After that KO, he does have Karina, and he's eyeing down a computer search, hashtag fire energy, and possibly another Hitmonchan to keep this chain going.
And getting that baby Buzzwole is a possible alternative attacker later.
Yeah, he can use the Sledgehammer turn. He can also look at that Hitmonlee for later on to like to smack a Mew on the bench or the Victini on bench. So a couple ideas here.
Yeah, well, this version of the list doesn't have Hitmonlee like
Okay.
John Ang's
Like the
list, so
traditional list
he
we've been
doesn't
seeing.
have quite the same options, and it's actually radically different in some ways. But at least for this particular matchup, the Buzzwole, super long story short, can actually be pretty significant as a different attacker. So no Hitmonlee, but baby Buzzwole, always swole.
Always Swole. Always Swole right now. So we just see the now two Hitmonchans on the bench. Baby Buzz as well. Strong Energy and a Focus Sash on the Hitmonchan. And he's going to cycle back into that Gumi. So he's gonna need the full counter energy here to be able to get the KO on this Gumi with the Dimension Valley out. And right on cue, there's
Yep,
the counter
there's our
energy.
counter
He does have a
energy.
Verse Seeker as well. So
I think that's the one he drew off of his prizes. He had 2 total.
you're
and
right.
Took that one, although it is kind of a slimy situation to have to get a counter energy and use a counter energy just to address a Gumi. So I'm hoping he doesn't. Like from his point of view, I would be hoping not to have to do it that way, but you have to do what you got to do to get a knockout sometimes.
Yeah, so he's opting just to play the rest stretcher to get the one Mew back versus shuffling more Pokemon back to the discard pile. Looks like we're going to see that Distortion Door. He has some plan here for the future with that extra 10 damage to those Hitmonchans, bringing them down to 80. Okay, alright. Distortion Door coming down, and he has Verse Seeker for the N. N being super crucial in the last game, helping Simon get back into the point of return. Sorry, not last game, game 1. Point of return and get to that Articuno play.
That is right, and this is a spot where it probably won't make that much of a difference because both of them still have a healthy number of prizes left, meaning they'll get a healthy number of cards they get to draw equal to those numbers of prizes. But at the same time, it's a little bit of whittling down, and it requires Zack to have another chain of cards to be able to keep up pace.
Agreed there. We do see the end of Fortis for Zack. Simon drawing 5. We see Junk Hunt, Articuno, and not much else. But he's going to be able to V-Blast this Gumi for the KO here. Keep him pace. What's he going to grab here, John?
You know, I don't know. I feel like apparently the Prism Energy. I was kind of eyeing that counter energy. I didn't know exactly what was in his hand. So as far as the more necessary, less expendable resource, I feel like that counter energy qualifies. But again, if you are lacking in energy whatsoever, having the Prism as a backup is equally good, and you're saving that counter energy for the absolute most crucial moment when your whole game gets decided by Tri-Edge.
Yep, 100% agreed there. Gonna get a nest ball here, get into Diancie there, and gonna be able to do extra 20 damage for his fighting type Pokemon. Prism coming down, gonna get ready for that Sledgehammer attack here.
And you know, speaking of Sledgehammer, that's probably what Simone was anticipating with that Prism selection for his prizes. Because, I mean, with Hitmonchan having the knockout here, he doesn't have... Okay, well, you know what? Just go ahead and scratch that all. I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong, because in this spot, I don't see any situation where Buzzwole is going to be using the attack unless we get a Guzma from Zack. But if that did happen, then we'd at least have Baby Mew to possibly respond with a revenge kill.
And one thing to note, too, that you really don't need the Sledgehammer turn when your Pokemon you're attacking is only 50 HP.
Right.
So with that Diancie in the Sledgehammer right there, it's going to be applying that pressure instantly right there, and don't need the extra effect of that 90 damage from the effective Sledgehammer.
And so we've got that easy knockout on the Mew from Hitmonchan, and it's hit and run, and we are back to ability lock with Wobbuffet.
What kind of slows down a little bit for Simon also, he can't really take advantage of that Junk Hunt Sableye because, you know, one turn of not taking a knockout really sets you far behind. So not able to really get back any of his expended resources from earlier in this round.
Yeah, and it looks like that was just a burn on that nest ball, getting it out of the hand and not having to see it later on.
See a Verseeker, see Articuno, which looks like it's coming down now, and the Prism Energy. I'm not sure what play he's eyeing down right now. Looks like he might be going for another V-Blast here.
He just wants a knockout, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just at this point. So, and a Sycamore as well. He's got to be getting close to the little last few strings of his day. That's his last Dimension Valley going to the discard pile.
Yeah, that's a rough discard to have to make. But, hey, you know, if he has the resources to close this game out, then, hey, why not go for it? Also, his deck's looking pretty thin, too, so that's another thing he might be counting on.
Yeah, you probably want it thin at this point in the game because, I mean, N is the name of the game in these last couple of prizes here. So.
And there he goes going for that counter energy. Now, after we talked about what to go for, I played it out a little bit more in my head, and basically that counter energy could have been grabbed at any point before the 5th prize. So as long as you drew it within any of those first 4 prizes, then you give yourself exactly what you need as far as the best odds to Tri-Edge for game.
Another thing, too, to kind of point there is while he still had effect of Dimension Valley, Prism Energy gets a little more value out of that versus counter is better from when your Dimension Valley does get eventually bumped. So I think he's kind of just looking into the future there to need that energy once it gets bumped out of Shrine. Moving on to Zack's turn right now. Diancie currently in the active spot here. Eyeing his computer search.
Yeah, and I bet Zack is feeling a little nervous about all of the great options in Simone's hand, so he probably wants to start disrupting that hand.
Yep.
And with time dwindling down, now granted, I'm not sure if the current clock that we have on the screen, it looks like the clock that we have is adjusted for the time extension. So with that in mind, with only a little bit more than 4 minutes to go, I don't want to see an awkward situation where because these players are playing defensively, they don't get a chance to fully finish the game, even though realistically it should finish in maximum 3 or 4 turns.
Yeah, that's a great thing, too. But both players, if we can see a KO on this side, even with the turn additional +3 turns, you still see it ending to this game right now. But this end's going to be huge. End of 3, both players. And the thing is here, though, is Zack has 2 attackers already set up, even off this end. He is chilling.
Yeah, now he doesn't... Zack does not have a Wobbuffet in play. So
that was his last free retreater, too.
Yeah.
So So we see a Rainbow Silent Lab and that counter
But
catcher.
that Kabalion is looking really scary. Although with the car, I think that's an
Order
order
pad.
pad. That
Order
could be
pad.
a crucial order pad.
Oh, Sycamore top
Sycamore.
deck.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
So what's the order pack gonna grab right now? Is it gonna be just kind of just a kill card? Does it grab something out just a thin?
If he has some out to
Maybe
be
a
able
counter
to
catcher?
fetch counter energy easier.
Or counter game one effect. And he does get the heads. What are we getting here? Does he have counter catcher? Maybe even a choice bin just to get it out of his deck and with the Sycamore. Counter game isn't gonna do anything right now.
Especially if he still has to Sycamore for the counter energy that he needs. He's already used computer search if I'm not mistaken, so because he has that computer search out as an option, he's gonna have to maybe eye something else, and there he goes for the
Okay.
special charge. I like that.
Okay.
That's the ideal play there. That's
counter-
the clean play
bring
to
back
give
two
him
counter
give him more
energies.
counter energies.
Counter energy and prism. Okay.
More counter energy regardless. Either way you cut it, that's more counter energy back in the deck.
Oh,
Maximum
I'm
odds.
getting glued
Get that
here.
revenge blast going on. A solid 150. That right there is the situation that Zack would have loved to have a focus sash for.
I'm getting too glued to my seat here. This is
I've been glued to my seat.
This
I'm
is
even
intense.
glueder than glued right now.
This is
We
super
got,
intense. Sycamore, get rid of the Rainbow and Silent Lab. Does he get the counter
Oh,
energy
gosh.
here?
That would
One,
be.
two. He has the counter
Yeah,
energy.
he's got
He
it.
got the counter energy, but he needs one more for the Articuno play and a Guzman next turn.
And he's out of counter gain.
No, the counter gain is
the counter gain's still there.
It's in his
Okay.
hand right now, so he just needs the
Okay.
counter energy.
So he's sitting on that, and just even if you're
Oh
playing,
my
even if
gosh,
you're
this
playing
is-
the game blindly,
This is wrapping up
Zack
intense
knows.
right now.
like Zack has to assume that it's there. He has to assume
He has to
that
play an
it's
end
there.
again. He has to play an end again and hope
Yeah.
he doesn't rip the Sycamore.
Or alternatively, Zack has to play for a spot where maybe I mean he's got his
Or
one
Choreo
focus
coming
sash
down.
used. Oh my gosh. Oh
Does
man.
that take out anything? Is there even enough Pokemon in there to take out? Is one Mew, two,
Well, here's
three?
here's the
He has
neat
Rest Stretcher, so
dude.
four.
Here's the neat thing about Oricorio is that this could be his way to set up
8.
multiple knockouts without triggering counter energy again.
Oh.
I don't know if that's what he's going to go for here.
Yeah, because he just spreads the
he can
damage
still
out.
he
He
can
puts
still
damage
hit for some
counters for each
damage
Pokemon
here,
in your
but
discard pile. So you just go like
he's
4-4.
going for the Oricorio.
You just go 4-4. So you probably put someone Victini. And what's the next lowest HP Pokemon? Everything else is 120. So
Mhm,
Giratina
yeah.
is 130. So you probably
Oh, so he's putting 7 on the Victini.
is that KO? That's
That's a
KO.
KO on Victini, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And what's Kabali's retreat? 2? So yeah, he's
Yeah.
just what's Oricori's HP? Is it 90?
Yeah, so that wasn't going the
Here,
way
his
that
sleeve's getting rolled up. He's feeling
Oh,
it now.
man,
He's feeling it now.
Zach took that in a
I kinda-
completely different direction than I thought he was.
I think your route was the correct one there to keep him away from those counter energy plays and just applying 4-4 to 2 Pokemon
I
constantly.
didn't realize that Simone had so many Pokemon in his discard pile. Like, if there were 8, then that could have been something. But at any rate, what's done is done. So we've got 1, maybe 2 shots at the game-deciding play all over again.
Oh, he's going to get teammates, counter
It's-
catcher. He already has counter gain in hand.
Yeah,
Did
and
time just get called?
yes. So
So
we've got
Simon's
times
turn
called.
0. Simon's turn 0. So, okay, counter gain's at hand. Teammates right now. Needs to get the counter. It's on this turn right now.
Yeah.
2 counter energies at the end. He's going to see what he needs to get rid of. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. What's we going to do? What are we
How
gonna
can
do
this
here?
happen 2 times?
This is all on Articuno
I
right now.
think this might have happened
What-
nearly every time.
So what's the
that
lowest
this has
HP
been
right
on
now?
stream.
80. So 80 right
Okay,
now
we've
on
got-
the Hitmonchan.
We've got 80 on the Hitmonchan.
So he needs double heads to take that KO.
Correct. Although, even if see, here's the thing: is that, man, with all the cards that have been discarded, I don't even know if
He has to go for
he
it here
has
because
to.
Zach has game next turn.
Oh, he does. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
he has hard
You're right. He's sitting
I'm sure
on
he
it.
has a Guzman hand or some way to take out the Garangar or bench something like that. So this is the turn to have to commit to for that Guzman
wait,
play.
order pad?
So you compressors
Okay.
away, compressors
Oh,
away to
compressors,
Rainbow
okay.
in the choice.
Yeah. And there's our
Teammates.
teammates.
So we're gonna see probably. Okay, here we go. Here.
My gosh.
Counter catcher and counter energy.
Yep.
And he has counter gain in hand. So we're going to see it here, boys. We're going to see he needs 66% of these heads right here. 2 out of 3.
That's spooky.
Oh, man. Everyone get glued. I think that's what we're about to see right now. Get glued.
Oh, and FYI, Oricorio is a ghost Pokemon. It's not a psychic Pokemon, so it's even spookier than spooky.
All right, here we go. Counter gain, counter catcher.
And rolling up the sleeves again.
He
Bringing
knows,
up Big Bird.
He knows he's going to bring the heavy hands for this dice roll.
Oh, my gosh. Is there anything better you could go for here?
The lowest HP is 80.
Yeah.
The lowest HP is 80. No, why are you going for the Orc? You need to fit all 3 heads in this case.
He could have gone for the Diancie Prism Star.
No, it hit my chan.
Or the
It's
Hitmonchan.
80 less
So we
HP
got a
left.
heads.
Oh, that's 40.
Tails.
Oh, here it is. There it is.
We got
These
one
are
more.
heads.
It could be.
There's 40 each, so here we go.
We are all clasping at our mouths right now.
It's game!
Oh, man!
It's game!
Oh, my God.
Tri-Edge does 40 plus for each head
are you-
there. So 2 heads, 80, 100, takes the KO on Oricorio for the last 2 prizes of the game. Kirk's jacket is over his head right now.
Oh, my
In
gosh.
astonishment
Hey,
right
but,
now.
by the way,
straight
are you guys going deaf right now at how loudly we are yelling into our mics? I mean, if
Oh
not,
my
maybe we should yell a little bit louder. Has that happened nearly
3
every
times.
game that he's
3
won?
times.
Okay, wait.
3 times.
Wait,
7. Game 1. Game
Wait,
3. Tri-Edge. 3
wait.
Tri-Edges.
Tell me. So you've streamed every single match this guy's been on. Has he won every single game with Tri-Edge?
Not every game. All but 1 game.
Okay.
All but 1 game. My heart's racing right now. This is crazy.
Man.
This is crazy.
Oh,
I need my man to get all the way to the finals right now. We got to stream every match. Dodge Trev, let's just get him there. Can we set up the bracket that way? Is that legal?
Well, it looks like there's at least one Zoroark Garb in top 8, so it's
Let
possible.
him feast. This is insane. Let him feast. The man's hungry.
That's right.
The man is hungry. He is he is luckier
that
than the
Ar- that
Irish.
Articuno is
He
hungry
found
to
the
eat
end of the
something.
rainbow, got the pot of gold, flipping heads everywhere. This is insane.
You know, that's the type of cold I can get on board with. Like, I'm Texan. I hate the cold in general, but, you know, Tri-Edge, Articuno.
So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to let John get in here and interview Simon here. I'm going to take a look at the current bracket to see what all's happened in the last couple rounds here, see if we can predict the top 8 for you, and I'll be back with you in an interview here in a second.
All right, sounds like a plan. See y'all. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 2019 Pokemon Trading Card Game Regional Championship. And I am here with the final Swiss round winner, Simone. You were in top 8. How are you feeling?
Great.
Man, so I tell you what, we've seen you on stream a lot
Yeah.
for this tournament, and best of luck throughout the rest of the tournament. But
Thank you.
maybe you could tell us a little bit more about your overall experience. So maybe some of the decks we didn't get to see you play against.
I play some Zorak and Rayquaza. I have a pretty and many Vespiquen and Night March. It's pretty a nice matchup, but yeah, it's a great experience.
Awesome. Glad to hear. So out of those 3 decks you mentioned, Night March, Vespiquen, and Zoroark, are all 3 of them pretty good matchups for you?
Yeah, but Night March and Vespiquen have a Oricorio,
Yeah.
and Zorak it can be tricky late game because of the N and all the. It's a luck base. Like, you saw with Articuno. It's like it's crazy sometimes, but if you have no choice, you have no choice. Huh?
Yeah, and it seemed like a lot of your games on stream were going down to that Articuno. How many games would go down to a final Articuno
Not
flip?
that much, but against one price deck, I have no choice in the end. But yeah, some games go down to this Articuno, and you have to do it. YOLO, man.
YOLO, that's right. You only live once unless you
Exactly,
are
huh?
unless you are the Tri-Edge God.
Yeah.
In which case you live eternally. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So I mean, we've already talked about how your feelings about Trevenant. You aren't looking forward to Trevenant, so by default you're looking forward to the things that are not Trevenant.
Yeah,
right?
anything except Trevenant.
Yeah.
Like, it will be fine. I don't like the trees, the forests. Scare me, but
Well,
yeah.
Spooky Forest. So I
Yeah,
feel you on
Spooky
that one.
Forest. I play Sudowoodo too, but this guy is more chill. I don't like the
I
other
don't-
trees.
Exactly. You just need chill, watch, and learn Sudowoodo. He just says, "Hey, relax, chill out for a bit."
Yeah, exactly. Even Sudowoodo is if you look at the Trevenant, the Sudo is in background of the Trevenant.
That's right.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's a Illuminati, man.
It is Illuminati.
Yeah.
That right. I mean, a lot about this, like the symbol, that triangle for the delta symbol.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of it.
exactly, Yeah.
I think you figured it out. You've broken the code.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Simone, the Tri-Edge God, for taking this
Thank
interview.
you.
Best of luck in top 8.
Thank you.